base. So the database specification, why is a bit different for what we have, is just to support a breeder in their daily activities, and then to manage the data that they are going to create over a year. And then is a comprehensive interface. That means it have a lot of tools that the breeder can use to achieve the goal in time and at real in the real objective. It also provide a common platform, because we have 4 countries and then 7 breeding programs in this project. It can help us to harmonize all the data we are going to generate. It also help us to curate our GEMPLAS material so that we can avoid some duplication inside the database. And then what we are also trying to do with this YAMBASE is to also help us to link together the phenotypic data along with the genomic data for some other works like genomic selection. And then the most important is just you can share your data at real time. So when you look at the YAMBASE, the pipeline, the ways you work, and also what you can do, the first thing when you enter to the YAMBASE, you can search for accession, and then if what you search is already there, you can download the accession. And then in case your accession is not there, you can now add, if it's a new accession, you can add it to the YAMBASE. And then if you want to make use of the accession you have, you can use it to create a new trial. And then along with the field book and then the crop ontology, you can create the list of the variable you want to use to phenotype your data. Once you have that one, you are ready. You can import both the trait file and also the field book layout to your tablet. So the next thing is just to take your tablet and then go directly to the field. You record your data. Once you finish to phenotyping your data now, you can directly upload your data into the YAMBASE again. And then if you have some historical data, like, you have a lot of data that were not in the YAMBASE, you can now upload such data also into the YAMBASE. And then the YAMBASE also can assist to you for some basic analysis. When you have your data, you phenotype everything, it can help you to do some minor data analysis. And then YAMBASE also can help you also to create and then manage your crossing. So as a tool, what we have in the YAMBASE, we have wizard tool. As you can see, the name is wizard. It's really powerful. You can search for whatever you have in the YAMBASE. You can search for accession, you can search for a trial, you can search for a plot. So the next thing we have is the list manager. Let's say that you want to create a list of accession, a list of a trial, a list of a plot. You can use this list to do that. And then we have barcode tool. I will talk about the barcode tool later on during my presentation. So as I was saying before, I said the YAMBASE can assist you for a basic analysis, and then we have selection index tool. We have summary data analysis. We have correlation matrix, which is really working now. The genomic selection is not yet fully developed, but very soon I think we will get there. We have also crossing manager, which can help you to develop, or it can assist you during your selection of the parent and then the crossing also. And then all this now is working along with the trait ontology, the crop ontology. I will talk more about the way it's work. And then the molecular marker data, because before I was saying that we want to link together the phenotypic data with the molecular data. So also what a YAMBASE can do, it will help you to manage your trial by a creation of single or a multiple environmental trial. It will provide you a metadata, and then the phenotyping ontology, the field map, and then it will assist you also for the summary of the trait asset, and then the population analysis. So as I was saying before that, the YAMBASE can help you to manage your trial. You can see here, assuming if you didn't use the YAMBASE to develop your trial, you can come here to upload it. And then when you want to upload it, it will guide you, it will direct you the way to what you want, and then also the file you need to submit. And then if you want to use the YAMBASE to develop your trial, you just need here, and then by clicking here, it will direct you what you need to do and then the way. And then here is for MLT evaluation to trial. So the next thing I was talking about, the metadata. The metadata is like a summary of your trial, what you have when you create a trial, what you have. So here now you have, okay, the trial name and then the breeding program where you save it, the year, and then the type of the trial. So the next thing now, the YAMBASE also can help you to have more information. Like this now, it will give you a flag information. Where you have the green, you know that, okay, all those information, they are good. And then here now you can see that there is red here. That means we did not provide the planting date and also the harvest date. So for this now, it will really help you. Oh, something is missing. You can go back and correct your trial. And then I was talking about the field map. The field map, now when you develop a trial into a row or by a column, assuming you get to the field and then you realize that, okay, your assertion is not enough. With your field map, you can now decide to replace one assertion by another one by just clicking this and then replace the name. So when you do that, it will directly go to the YAMBASE and change all where this assertion has been involved. So you don't need again to start burdening yourself. So the next thing, I think all of us probably in some country like where I came from, we all go to the field with our sheet, you collect your data, and then you come back into the office, you start entering your data, which can take a lot of data, a lot of time, and then during that process, you can make a lot of mistakes. And then you can see it's the time consuming and then information losses, and it's difficult to share at the real time. So the essence of using YAMBASE is just to help us to federate and then coordinate all the different data that we'll be collecting over a year. And then we tried last year just to evaluate the essence of using old method and then the new method. When you have a 30 clone replicated in 3 rep and then 12 traits to be collected, you can stay up to 8 hours before you finish this one. And then just using a YAMBASE by creating your trial along with a field book app, only 2 hours, you have already finished to collect your data. And then what we have also in the YAMBASE right now is just a barcode, which can help you to barcode either an assertion, and then you can also barcode for a plot, which will link you directly to the field book. And then the advanced one in the barcode, and then we have now just these two barcode for a trial. So when you have this barcode for your trial placed into the feed, by using one app, QR reader, when you go there and then you take you just record it, it will link you directly to the YAMBASE. So you don't even need to go to the feed with your tablet again. With your phone, you can directly go to the YAMBASE by login. So you just need to browse and then it will link you directly to the YAMBASE where this trial is located. So you can phenotype it directly into the YAMBASE, not into the tablet again. So I was saying before that we have 4 countries, 7 breeding programs. That means we cannot let them be using whatever they want for the phenotyping. We have to coordinate all the trait and then the way this is supposed to be collected. So it's in this way now the YAM ontology has been developed, and then right now we have 187 different variables categorized into 6 different agronomic, physiologic, and then other traits. So for this, each variable has one unique ID. So for that one, it's a bit a challenge. So what we try now to do is just because the same variable, you can decide to collect it over many times, many periods in the year. So what we try to do here is just something we can help you for post computing. So you can take the same data at different time at any moment you want. So your data will be safe, and then when you upload it into the YAMBASE, you will be able to take it for you. So as data analysis tool, what we have right now, as I said it before, we have the selection index tool, and then we have summary status. The selection index tool is just, okay, let's say that you are in a clonal evaluation trial, you have up to 400 accessions, and then you want to advance only 100, and then you use 30 variable to phenotype your accession. So based on this, since you are a breeder, you give a weight to some variable based on your understanding, and then based on probably a suggestion or your breeding program. So after giving the weight to each variable, you can run now your selection index. So it will just rank all the accession based on the information you provide. So if I decide to only advance 4 here, I will just pick the first 4, and then I will advance them for the next season, and then I will discard the remaining one. The other thing, and then I said that, okay, you can run your summary statistics. The summary statistics is just, okay, it give you an overview of the way your data, the way your variable vary from one accession to other one. So here now you can have your mean to provide you the minimum, maximum, the standard deviation, the coefficient of variation. And also you can decide now to, if you want to see the distribution of the variable, if it's normal or not, you can click on just the histogram, so it will provide the histogram for you to have an overview. And then what we have also is we have correlation matrix into the YAMBASE, which is right now working. And then the result it will provide you as a heat map. So if you have the result now, you can just download it for your report or for publication. And then for the genomic selection, it's not yet fully developed because we are still waiting to finalize something on the genomic aspect. So the YAMBASE also can really help you when you want to involve into genomic aspect. So let's say that you want to send some sample for sequencing. You just go to the platform of the platform of the company you want to send your accession there. When you get there, you download the file requested. So once you have it, you just fill it. Once you fill it, now you send your data for them for sequencing. They will get back to you with your raw data. So you can provide the YAMBASE link for them, and then they will send the raw data as FASTQ file or FASTA file. So once you have it now, you can use appropriate tools as probably Tassel or other software to analyze to get your VCF file. When you have your VCF file now, you can upload your VCF file directly to the YAMBASE, and then you can run your genomic selection and then make a decision for next year. So here now we have one breeding API, which is in initiative, is one of probably data repository, and then we have a lot of database there. So if you have access, you can just log to the BRAPI, and then you can search for different database, and then here is the YAMBASE we have, and then we have cassava, but since it's the YAMBASE that is really interesting, is where we focus. And then what we have right now, YAMBASE has been created, I think, early January 2015, something like that. And then for the number of accession now, for 11,000, we are now up to 51,000 accessions. So a lot of progress has been made by adding accession and also along with the pedigree information. And then for the trial evolution for 2015, we have already moved for 21, and then right now we have 182 different trials. And then the YAMBASE user also is really increasing. That means we are making impact on the people involved in the YAMBASE and also to the YAM practice community. And then we are also working in collaboration with Genetic Resources Center to see the way we can accommodate their own accession. And then when you are searching for one particular accession in Genetic Resources Center, by clicking a link, it will link you directly to the YAMBASE. And then if this accession has been used in any trial, it will tell you, and then you can have access to the phenotyping data. And then the link has been provided for Genetic Resources for all the material they send for us. And then what we do also for the breeding program, we also assist them for a weekly support. And then if something is wrong into the YAMBASE, you can now, each Thursday, you can now call for, okay, this is not working, what could be the issue? So we solve it directly. This is in collaboration with BTI and also with ITA. So the program is just this one. And then in order to enhance the capacity building for the different, our partners, we embark ourselves in many training for them. And then from 2016 and then this year also, we have visited a lot of the breeding program to enhance them for novel techniques and then familiar them for with the uses of YAMBASE. So as future development for YAMBASE, where we are going to, as you all know, yam is polyploidy crop with different ploidy level. So it will be really interesting that, okay, by searching for accession, you can get the ploidy level. When you know the ploidy level, it will really assist you when you want to select them for breeding or for crossing. So if you have diploid and triploid, you will know that I'm going to get probably a variation during the children. And then what we also want to do is just to try to use the YAMBASE for generating a disease progression. This ticket has been made for this. I think by the end of next month it will be released. So you can use the YAMBASE to estimate the progress of disease to the YAMBASE. And then this is also ongoing because we want all our partners to be familiar with YAMBASE. It's not something that, okay, is only in IT, but themselves also they can use it. And then we want also to increase the tool we have into the YAMBASE for modeling genetic, like, okay, readability, and then some advanced calculation. And then we want also to enhance the crossing manager so that it can assist you for the pollination to the, at least to the seeding nursery. So this is typically available in sweet potato base. I take this as an example so that we can see the way we can implement that one also into the YAMBASE. You can run a blast in a sweet potato base, assuming you have a sequence and then you want to know if it's available in one particular genome or your ref genome. You can run it into the YAMBASE and then it will give you the result as a table format. So based on this, you don't need to go for another software. Also, what we want to try to do is just how we can use the YAMBASE for phylogenetic. So you don't need again to go to look for other software when you have some phenotyping data or you have some sequencing data and then you want to do a phylogenetic. We want the YAMBASE to assist you for that one. And also we want to use the YAMBASE as in case of BMS, how you can use the YAMBASE when you want to run a TL analysis. So I think for sure we get it there and then we make it available for the database people. And then at the end I will just say, okay, the YAMBASE have a lot of capacity that can help us to have a lot of data, and then it can assist you at least for minor data analysis right now. And also it helps us to minimize data losses in time, and then also data curation can help us to achieving our data and then access it at real time, and then data integration and sharing at the same time, and then integrating both phenotyping and genotyping data for advanced data analysis. So yeah, we are.
Great. So, anybody, questions, comments, suggestions? Yes, Ranjana,
Okay.
Elizabeth, and then Isaro. So, Ranjana, and then
Great, congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
good presentation.
Thank you.
I have few observations and comments.
Yeah.
First is, you said that all data, phenotypic, genotypic data is there,
Yeah.
and currently it is being managed by you and Fola.
Yeah.
So are you going to give access to the data originator as well, so that we can also go there? Like, I know I can get into there and
Yeah.
get into but how is it being managed at the moment, and how the user or the data originator is being involved? That's one.
Okay.
The second question is, you said familiarizing the YAM community. At
Yeah.
the moment, it's only Africa YAM partners or Africa YAM people that you are familiarizing. When are you going to go outside that Africa YAM? That's second.
Okay.
Third, I didn't see anything on BMS. How are you going to link the YAMBASE with the BMS, the bidding management system? Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, let me start to answer, and then Fola also can assist. For the first question, I think you said that we have something we call authorship. Even the YAMBASE is there for the agreement. But what we try, if you have access to the YAMBASE, you can go there and then download it for your own sake. And then what we try to do before we give you access to the YAMBASE, we limit it. You have to be a submitter. And then if you are a submitter, that means you have been involved into the data. You cannot go and steal any data. So is what we try to do right now to protect the data. But if your data is there, it's safe. No one is going to steal your data. Okay. The next thing now, we are targeting right now for Africa YAM community, and then Africa YAM practice community. First of all, they said the good charity. I don't really know the way to say it in English. So we want first of all to make sure that, okay, our person is really familiar with that one. So if we are through with that, we can now see, okay, how to go out. We want first of all to satisfy our people first. And then for the last question, you talk about how are we going to link a YAMBASE with BMS. I think Fola can.
So linking YAMBASE to BMS will work on the graph. Okay, so to link YAMBASE to BMS will work under the BRAC initiative. So the BRAC initiative is to do a kind of cross-referencing databases. So you can say search an assertion in different databases. Say for instance you want to search maybe TER 291, you can search that across different databases.
How? Well, my question is how you are complementing each other, because what you are doing is almost what is there in BMS as well. So how are you going to complement each other?
Well,
instead of duplicating.
Yeah. So the idea is under the BRAC initiative. There's really a long discussion as to how the two systems could complement each other. So there was a time there was discussion about you taking the data set from YAMBASE or maybe cassava base, then you can use analysis pipe maybe BMS. There have been a lot of discussion going on, but at the moment what we have is to have a kind of cross searching across databases, and that's one of the BRAC initiative. Yeah, then that's regarding the data originator. YAMBASE is open. I'll make this say it's open. If you log in, if you sign up to YAMBASE today, you have access to all the data sets we have in there. So even if you are not part of the Africa YAM community, just sign up. You have access to the data set on YAMBASE.
Okay, Elizabeth, unless you.
Yeah, I just want to say it's a requirement of the donor that we make the data there open to everyone.
Open access.
Yeah. Okay. Elizabeth.
Thank you. Okay, this was a nice presentation.
Thank you.
No wonder you have worked with Fola. The question I have has to do with the barcode.
Okay.
And the fact that when you use your, the barcode, you can use your phone, and directly whatever you collect goes into the database.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a concern. Supposing, people collect things, genotype with errors and things, it's already loaded. Was there going to be an interface where it will be clean and then work done? Maybe I didn't get it well. That's my first one. The second one is the metadata.
Yeah.
We are looking at the metadata for the whole of our IT. I went to SIAT, I saw metadata. That one maybe they can carry human beings inside. I don't know. But it was so big that how are we going to get the cassava base, the yam base, the Musa base, the legume base, they all coming, all the bases.
Yeah.
How is it going to, that one maybe Fela will handle that
Okay.
to get the mega data? Is it going to be bringing all of them together, or what is it? I don't even understand. No.
Okay. So,
So,
The back.
let me start with the barcode. So the idea behind directly phenotyping on the field is just to mimic the field. You know, you use the field on the field, you collect your data, you export the data out, and it goes back to the database. So what we are just trying to implement is to see how you can directly phenotype into the database. But the problem there is we limited it to creators alone. So now the next step is to have a kind of like a container that can take that data, that you can think of a way of validating, like a QC control before you actually store it. But for now, it's open. It's still a work in progress. It's still a work in progress. So it's like there's something called ODK. So that's what we try to mimic. We try to mimic something like that because with ODK, you collect the data, then it syncs directly into the server. So we are trying to use barcode. You just generate a barcode for your child. Say your child name is Fola. You just can generate a barcode for Fola. Then when you get to the field, use your phone. You can have maybe a QR reader or any barcode scanner. Read that barcode, then it takes you directly to the child page on YAMBASE that you can directly score. So one of the QC we have implemented for now, which is a bit light to it, is the QC within the crop methodology. So if a trait has to be scored on a scale of 1 to 5, if you enter any value out of that ring, it doesn't accept it. So but at the same time, that can still be a mistake, you understand? So that's the next thing, like having a container to take the data, then you can do a post validation. As regarding the second one, having mega data here and there, I think that will be taken care of under the DIM initiative. Thank God we have contributed. So that will be something to be taken care of. I think managing that, we can manage that at IoT level. Thinking about historical data for cassava, yam, musa, that will be part of the demo initiative. You understand?
Okay, Fisayo, then we'll come to that.
Okay. Thanks for a very good presentation. One of my questions was supposed to be on the barcode, but I still want to ask, when the internet is not working well, how do you cope?
Yeah, that one is a good question. Because this, when you use directly the barcode or the QR reader into the field, you need to have access to the internet before it will link you to the YAMBASE. But what, in this case, what we are trying to do is just something that you can do a phenotyping. It will give you access like an interface. You do your phenotyping, but it will not go directly to the YAMBASE. Then immediately when you get to where you have access to the network, it will update itself.
Okay. My second question is on adding of accession. You're saying that if you are looking for an accession, if
Yeah.
you get it, you can add your accession.
Yeah.
Is it the curator alone that can do that, or anybody can just add any accession?
Is submitter and curator. It's only these two account level that can submit you can add a session.
Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for the nice presentation. And my question is toward the phenotyping.
Okay.
Because that is the key role for any success of this platform. So my question is what maybe this may be the IOLA, when you do the interaction.
Yeah.
So my question is this: why you are not? Are you adding in this meteorological data and also the soil nutrients data in this year so that you can know the error or whatever the environment that is coming because of the soil nutrients or maybe the meteorological data?
Okay.
So far I know that cassava, I asked this and they say we are not using that one now.
Okay.
So are you planning to include in that one? And the next question, as you are saying, you have the selection index. Suppose I am looking for the 4 digits, any line. I want to get back the digits. So I'm going your database, I said selection index and data is coming. But I am not knowing if really whatever the data I am getting, this really you make the trial only for the digits, or you just make a general trial and you say okay, natural infestation was there, you just record it. But if you record the natural infestation, that it means yield data is not okay. Because yield data is affected by the disease. Because if I am going to be the same trial with the yield, then it means yield is biased. Okay. So you have to either make separate trial for disease, separate trial for the drought or heat or maybe salt, and separate trial for the agronomic data. It means if you are going to agronomic data, you have to give the insecticide, pesticide, everything. That's why there is no disease, there was no insect, another effect. So it means really agronomic data. That's my concern for this.
Okay.
How will you address
Okay. Probably I will go for the first one and then Fola will sit for the second one. For the first one, okay. In the YAMBASE, probably if I can get access to net, I can show you. We have already provided the weather information is already there. The soil information is there. So when you have those information, we call it coordinated information along with some methodology information. You can add it to the YAMBASE, but we did not yet try for any of our trial. But the page has been created. So if you have the information, you can add it along with your trial.
Okay, let me just add to what you said. So we have links to accommodate that at the moment, but for now we have not really added anything. Then regarding your second question, selection index we have implemented is on a trial basis. You have established a trial, you have phenotyped a trial, you are looking for the best material in that trial you want to advance. So the selection index you have implemented is to select your key trait of interest, the traits you have known that are genetically correlated. So you can select your trait, assign them a weight, then it ranks it for you. The limitation we have at the moment is we are making use of raw means. And that is why we said in the future development, we are looking at generating more genetic parameters. So we can use something like a breeding value in our selection index, or we use something like adjusted means. So that's the only limitation. So it is trial specific. It is trial specific. So the idea is so if a technician harvests the trial, after doing the QC as the breeder, you can load the data into YAMBASE, you do your selection, and you can identify your top 5 material. That is, it will be biased based on the breeder. It's the breeder initiating. If you wrongly select a trait, it gives you what you give it to determine.
Yeah, thank you for the group for a good work. I heard you say that you have about 187 traits.
Yeah.
How do you come about 187 in YAM?
Okay.
Did you have the YAM scientists meet and select those traits?
Okay.
And did you group them in terms of secondary and primary traits? That's one. And then I heard you say that in terms of traits that were measured over time, you have different ontology for them. Is it the standard practice, or it serves specifically to YAMBASE?
Okay.
Where you have traits measured over.
Okay.
So I'll pick that.
Okay.
So when Antonio Lopez was here, he started the ontology, he started the development, and then YAM traits, we had about 56 traits then when we started. So what we now did was to the historical data set we have at IIT in the old RDBMS thing. RDBMS. So we look at all the traits as a phenotype, and we try to come up with a description for them, carrying along the breeders in Ghana. So this was an effort put in place by Asrat, David. We asked to. We went about the description of all the traits, and we were able to arrive at a number of traits. We tried to reduce at some point to accommodate for duplicated traits, and we had this ongoing for about a year, and Dr. Asiedi was involved in getting the school to the proper ontology forms. So that was it. It wasn't an IIT initiative alone. You understand? Because we have accommodated the breeders' idea from Ghana. Then number two, he asked that if we divided our trait into primary, secondary. So the idea is in trait ontology, we have this frequently used traits. In the breeding program, we didn't really separate. So it is in the YAM reading, there was this book. I don't know what they call the book.
SOP.
So that there is this book that has the trait, which phenotype for each trial. So that has been in place, before I started working with them. Then number the second thing you asked was
Ontology.
Okay, yeah. So the idea is the reason why we are composing traits is if we look at the ontology, anybody can request for any threat. You know, I can say, well, I'll take for instance, there was a time in Cassava when somebody was trying to add up a trait called ramification, and we discovered that ramification is just the same thing as branching. You understand? So what we did is preventing exploding the ontology. Say you have a disease called YAMBASE anthracnose, and you want to fill it up at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. Are you going to record them as different traits? It's the same trait recorded repeatedly. So what we have tried to do is to have it as a single trait, as a parent term. Then the different time points will be an attribute.
Yeah.
Will be an attribute. So when you want to store that, the main trait is what you have. Then within the database, it creates a kind of a dummy ID for the repeated ones. So because if you continue like that, we explode the ontology.
Yeah.
We say we have about 500 variable terms, and in the real sense, we just have about 100.
That's right. Thank you.
And then probably I need just to highlight something. And then also for the validation, at some time you can get some new trait that is really interesting, but not in the ontology. In this case, you have to write to the Biodiversity International, since they are the one in charge of validation of the trait. So.
Any other questions, suggestions, comments? If not, then join me in thanking these students and for looking outside. No tea or coffee? Wow.
No, we would have tea in the afternoon after 2.
That's because the regional administrator is on leave. Something went wrong. We apologize. But at 2 o'clock, dear room, those will be there.
After lunch. You have
After lunch, that is after lunch, so
After lunch.
no tea there.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah, you mentioned John Thomas. You went to John Thomas.
Yoga? Yeah. Yeah.